Hi, I'm Joe, your tour guide on this adventure of experiencing internships. So, are you convinced that you need at least one internship before you graduate? And really, it looks like 2 or 3 internships would be even better. In any case, you're ready for the next step, how to get started. What materials do you need to have ready for the search, and how can you prepare for the process of landing one? In other words, what do you need to know and do in order to compete for a good internship opportunity? Let's see what other San Jose State students have to say about their experiences, and we'll also check in with those all-important employers.
I feel the application search materials are very important to this part of the internship search, so I spend a fair amount of time gathering my materials, thinking about my past experience, and also going to the Career Center to have my resume critiqued. The important advice I got was to use, to supplement my work experience by adding projects that I had done in class to highlight my skills and my knowledge in the subject matter.
In order to get to the interview stage, you need to have a very succinct, well-written resume. I have to thank the Career Center for helping me critique my resume, and that helped me land the interview with Yahoo and several other companies.
Well, for every internship, there is an application process. You do have to get references from different people.
But overall, after the whole application is completed, it's worth the while.
The resume is a very important document. It's the thing that gets you the next step.
A resume should be spotless. There should be no bad grammar, no misspelled words, no formatting errors. Your resume is going to represent you. Sometimes when you're not there to represent yourself.
Have everyone look at your resume. There's always little tidbits that can be changed. So don't just have one person review it once and think it's perfect. Give it to different people, give it maybe to your professors, to someone in the Career Center, and have everyone kind of evaluate it, as well as maybe have an employer look over it.
I believe that the cover letter and the resume customization will help them get an interview. So instead of making one version and sending it out, making sure that you're saying, I would love to have this internship at whatever company it might be.
Those were some great tips. Looks like the place to start is with your resume. The Career Center has lots of experience in this area, so why not start here? Stop by the Career Center with your list of questions. Check out the workshop dates and plan to attend a resume workshop. Put the finishing touches on your resume. Drop in for a resume critique session with a career counselor. If you really want to get an edge on the competition, you can try developing your own portfolio. This material definitely takes some time to do right, but may be worth the extra effort. Don't forget the tip to develop your list of references early on so you don't get caught scrambling trying to meet an application deadline. Sounds like this application process is important enough to take the time to do it right. The message is clear. Start early, develop a good resume, and utilize all campus resources available to you. The next challenge is to prepare yourself for the awesome task of convincing some employer that you are the student that they should pick. All of our San Jose State students were so successful at this, they ended up with some pretty exciting assignments as interns. How did they do it? What strategies work best for them?
Each internship offered me something for the next internship. So it's just as far as networking, public speaking, getting to know people, and just future planning for whatever I want to do.
I would have to say work on your social skills as much as possible, your communication skills. Because I've seen that even when you're in the interview process, they might not focus on the technical skills, but if you have really good communication skills, that might make it a deciding factor in if they hire you or not.
Before the interview, kind of like what I learned is that, you need to search within yourself, know who you are, and know what you're capable of, and know how you stand apart from everybody else. Know what you have to offer them and how you can solve their problems, because that's what the position's for. They need someone to fill a certain position to help them with something, right? So figure out how you can help them with their problems and be a solution for them.
Lots of good ideas. You just have to find what works best for you and fits your academic major program. Now let's see what we can learn from the employers. What qualities do they look for? How can you nail the interview?
Make sure that you bring your resume with you. So you can refer to it as you're talking and selling yourself. Make sure that you bring a piece of paper and a pen. Take notes so you know exactly what type of job that the employer is talking to you about, and you can refer to it when you're speaking about yourself and your qualities. So as the employer is saying, we're looking for someone who has these skills, make sure that you mention it back before the end of the conversation, how you have those skills or how you might be able to do that work. And also you can also use that information to do a follow-up thank you. So it shows that you're serious about your job, serious about the interview, and you're showing that you have some attention to detail.
When a student goes into an interview, they have to present themselves in a way that they understand that they are looking for a job, and this is professional, so in a very professional manner. But secondly, they need to be sure to interview and to answer questions on point, succinctly, to try to get to the point very quickly.
Definitely for the interview process, I would say ask questions about the internship. Ask about work environment. That's a huge thing I think that's become more important in this generation, is the work environment, and typically how does that work environment work, and if it's a match for you, because you want to make sure it's a good fit, the culture, the environment is what you're looking for.
What I look for are some very simple things. I look for someone who is enthusiastic, someone who is focused on what their objective is in terms of their academic program. Another thing that I look for is ability to communicate. Verbally is certainly very critical. In an interview, that's what we are faced with, is verbal communication. So the key thing at that point then is to be sure you understand what's on your own resume and be able to talk about it. Specifically, for example, let's say that you have a project that you've done in a class. Don't go into that interview without reviewing that project from what you did in the past. You need to take a look at it, see what did you do, what were some of the issues, some of the problems you had in doing it, what were the results of that project, what did you get out of it. You need to be able to talk about it, and if you don't think about that in advance and sort of formulate some idea in your head as to what you might respond to an employer should they ask you about that, you're not prepared.
And the three most important things: enthusiasm, enthusiasm, enthusiasm. That's important, okay? You have to demonstrate that you really like what you're doing and that you're giving it your all.
Come to think of it, all the students we interviewed showed enthusiasm for their internship experience. No wonder they were so successful. Let's break this down and see how you too can learn to demonstrate this important quality. Enthusiasm shows up in the application process. Are your materials complete and of good quality? Enthusiasm is demonstrated in the interview process by your communication style. Are you expressing interest and excitement about the internship and the organization? Are you communicating your career objectives with energy and focus? I hope you've been challenged to do the necessary work to prepare for the internship search. If you want the best shot at being selected, you have to prepare yourself and your materials. Start early and be ready when the right opportunity presents itself.
I think probably one of the strongest pieces of advice I can give them in terms of looking for an internship or a co-op is to treat it as if it's a regular full-time job.
It's never too early to get an internship.
When I hire or consider any student, the first criteria is going to be the institution. San Jose State is a school we highly regard, so I want to know that they're from San Jose State.
Thanks go to our student guides and employers for sharing their experiences and giving us a heads up on what we can expect when we take the internship journey.